Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in on today's Daily Liverpool News Show. Well, Premier League show today. Really, I'm joined by two very special guests. The original crew the band is back together. I'm joined by Douglas. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Just shout out your channel where everyone can find you.
Yeah, it's my absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. My YouTube is the Dugout Football channel. That is also my Twitter handle there.
Nice one. Con is back. The return of the Cop Council. What shows you got planned, mate, and where can everyone find you?
The original crew is back. We should get that copyrighted before anyone nicks it. Just saying. But yeah, the Cop Council, YouTube, and all that good stuff. Yeah, just post match tomorrow against the Ev. Of course, transfer news is coming out now. I know you did one yesterday about Jude Bellingham and a few odds and ends as well. So yeah, a couple of busy weeks and busy months ahead.
Yeah, this one's more or less a very interactive show, everyone. So if you want to get involved, get all your comments in as well. Most importantly, we will be reading through everyone's comments tonight. Obviously, the Premier League team of the season vote. I'll get the lads' thoughts, and most importantly, all your thoughts. If you are watching this on the repeat, let us know at this current moment in time who is your 1 to 11 in relation to the Premier League team in the season. The votes will be getting collected very soon because we're not too far until the end of May, only a couple of weeks now, and we'll probably find out who the runners and riders are this season anyway. But we'll get straight into it, lads, as well. Get to all your comments. But we'll firstly go over to have a little look at the Bundesliga now. As you can see, Bayern Munich have won their 10th straight Bundesliga title, which is absolutely staggering, really, in relation to that. Manuel Neuer and Thomas Muller, 10 consecutive Bundesliga German titles, absolutely phenomenal stuff. Doug, you watch quite a lot of Bundesliga. Is it the German Farmers League? Is it? Would you say?
I think it is sort of starting to turn into that. Yeah, like Bayern Munich winning 10 in a row is. It's fantastic for them. Let me put it that way. But I think Dortmund, there's only one team that can basically win it, or two teams. Yeah. It's either Dortmund or Bayern, in my honest opinion. I know Leipzig are sort of being there or thereabouts. Like last season, they had a fantastic season last season. But if you look at the Bundesliga, I think only, if I remember, Wolfsburg won it 1 year. I think 09-10, I think.
Yeah,
and
the then season won it when he
won Werder Bremen won it as well. Yeah. So look, the last team to not win to stop Bayern winning it was obviously Borussia Dortmund under Jurgen Klopp, of course.
Yeah,
it is becoming a bit of a farmers' league, and the problem is as well. You look at that as well. Bayern are taking the best players from other clubs. And they've been doing that for a long, long time. They seem to be taking players from Dortmund, from obviously Leverkusen. I wouldn't be too surprised if Florian Wirtz ends up at Bayern Munich. It's just what they do. It's just what they do to, they took up a Meccano, they took Nagelsmann. They've been doing it for years. So, how on earth are you meant to, compete, unfortunately. Yeah. But congratulations to Nagelsmann. I think he's probably the youngest manager in the Bundesliga. 34, I think he is. So, yeah, to win his first Bundesliga title at the age of 34 is some going.
Yeah, not too bad, is it, mate, as well. Luke from the 1892 Reds podcast is joining me, mate. Thank you for coming on. Obviously, I was on your stream today. Just shout out what that episode was about and obviously what shows you got coming up, and then we'll get straight into the 1 to 11 all our votes. I know yours as well.
First of all, thank you for letting me come on. It was quite an enjoyable stream, I'll say. We done our debut episode of our sort of version of a Gillette Soccer Special sort of thing. It's called the 1892 Football Show. Obviously, we may change the name, but sort of as it goes along, possibly. But it was. I think it was really enjoyable. I was watching through some clips. Obviously, I've got some clips to put out for tomorrow morning on Twitter, but the one that does me was when you mentioned the plastic bag that went across the pitch this afternoon. That was it was hysterical. I thought it was brilliant. But
Up the plastic bag.
yeah,
it had more movement than Ollie Watkins. I'll say that anyway.
It was when you turned around and said, "Oh, look, someone should put a £20 bid in." That was the one that really done me. But no, it was really good. But yeah, when coming up for us, obviously we've got our Everton review, possibly tomorrow night, and then midweek Champions League previews, and then possibly next Saturday we'll have another version of the football show. Which, if you want to join as well, Doug, you're more than happy to, mate.
Yeah,
sure.
So we'll go through, but we'll get straight into it, boys, as well. But most importantly, we want to gauge your thoughts and opinions. Obviously, I have got statistics wise, everything. We'll have a little look into terms of when it does get up to the other end of the pitch, really, in relation to obviously the goals scored and the assists as well. I think we all know Liverpool are dominating quite a lot of those charts, so we'll be quite heavily. I know with this voting, especially obviously the graphs and everything, the Premier League, I know EA didn't include Chelsea, so we will discuss Chelsea players in relation, and if we can, obviously we'll probably mention Rudiger, and I think Rudiger's probably the only one we'll mention in reality. But we'll start off with the goalkeeper situation. Now, everyone, obviously, we'll have a little quick gander in terms of obviously the clean sheets. As everyone can see there, Alisson Becker and Ederson are leading the statistics-wise this season. Obviously, both 18 clean sheets. But we go to you, Luke, as well, really, mate. From an outside point of view, when I watch a couple of these games as well, Jose Sarr, he's got to deserve a lot of good shouts in this, mate, for me personally. Or what's your thoughts on who do you feel is goalkeeper of the season to me?
I think there's a couple. I think Jose Sarr definitely for Wolves has been very underrated. I think he's, I see on your screen 11 clean sheets for Wolves this year. That's a very good stat to have for his first season in the Premier League. He's up there, as one of the best goalkeepers this season in the Premier League. There's no denying that. I mean, even you can even look at, we obviously Rick calls him Captain Charisma and Aaron Ramsdale. He's obviously been a very good signing, an important signing for Arsenal this year as well. And, to keep 12 clean sheets for Arsenal, that takes a lot of doing as well, especially with Arsenal's problem defensively. But, it's between the two Brazilians, isn't it? I mean, for me, the goalkeeper of the season might sound a bit more biased, obviously leaning towards Alisson, but I just think for me with Alisson, the reason why I've chose him was there's more moments that I feel that he's won more points for Liverpool compared to City. I think there's more important moments where Liverpool have not played too well and we've heavily relied on either, Van Dijk, but Alisson to really step up to the mark. And, he's for the last sort of 12 to 18 months, in his career on the pitch, but also off the pitch personally, he's not had the best of times, like with his, his father passing away. And, even that it's difficult for him and any person for that, regard. But for me, Alisson this season has just been tremendous. And I think it's probably been one of his best seasons in a Liverpool shirt. And I believe just in front of Ederson, because he's, as I said, he's just picked up little key moments. I think he's just done slightly better to win Liverpool more points compared to Ederson. Yeah,
so you're going with Ali, mate. I'm going with Ali, of course I am. No bias at all. But Doug, a couple of those keepers deserve a shout. I know, as I said, I bigged up Jose Sarr. I think he's been very impressive, especially replacing Patricio. Obviously, he went to Roma in the summer just gone, transfer window. But he's really adapted to the Premier League really well. And obviously, David De Gea, I know the couple of years prior to this year, he's been really... probably not at the peak level, and shout out to Maisie as well. Obviously, she's seen probably a lot more of De Gea. Let us know, Maisie, if you can in the chat. Obviously, David De Gea this season. I think if it wasn't for De Gea in the last couple of seasons being rated, I think they'll be a lot more further off top four than they have done in the previous seasons. But for me, Jose Sarr, I'd have him as my second choice for the player for my goalkeeper of the year. I'd slightly have him ahead of Ederson due to the fact of the team in which he's playing in, I think. But Doug, who would you go with for your goalkeeper team in the season?
I have to echo what you've said about Jose Sa. I think Jose Sa has had a magnificent season with Wolves. Coming in, replacing a very, very good shot stopper and Rui Patricio. And I think that, not obviously down to Sa as well, I think you have to look at the defence for Wolves. Wolves have been excellent defensively this season as well. For me, and I think this might be a little bit controversial, but I don't think Ederson should be there. I honestly don't think he should be there. Yes, I know. Yes, I know that he's obviously got 18 clean sheets and all, but for me, the only thing that he is better at in terms of a goalkeeper than Alisson, for me, is his distribution. His distribution is out of this world. He can find he could basically put a 90-yard ball and it probably goes to Mahrez, it goes to Jesus, it goes to somebody like that. But for me, I think it's between Jose Sa, Alisson, and Ramsdale, in my honest opinion. If I'm gonna
choose one, no lack one.
I know I've got it. I think the most obvious choice is Alisson, but I'm going to go something different. I think just because how well Wolves have played this season, and bearing in mind that I don't think anyone expected them to be in the top 10 right now, for me, I'm going Jose Sa ahead of Alisson.
Con might swing me minds. It depends on who you pick now. Yeah, Alisson.
Well, to be fair, I can agree with each and every single one of you. Jose Sa, for me, has been. No, yeah, well, he has been amazing.
It's not like FIFA where it can pay your city, pay for your vote.
True. Well, to be fair, if we're paying for votes, then Mendy would be there.
For Chinese next week if you want that.
But no, it's for me, Jose Sa, he has been a very good keeper this year, especially coming into a side where the last few years for Wolves, Patricio has been solid for them over the last few years. Him going to Roma as well left a huge gap within that team, and for him to just walk in, I think, very cheaply as well, and he's been tremendous. But I'm not, I don't want to be biased, but it is Alisson Becker for me. 1v1's the best in the world for me. I think the first season he signed for Liverpool was Alisson Becker's best season in a Liverpool shirt, but I think this season's topped that completely. I think we'll speak about other players, but he's been so crucial for this Liverpool side over the last few weeks and months to be in the position that we have been in. And for me, there is no better goalkeeper in the world at the minute than Alisson Becker.
Yeah, of course. But let's get to everyone's comments in the chat as well. Keep on getting them in as well, everyone. If you don't mind dropping a like on the video, we'll just help you out. Good of them anyway. Absolute bloody legends. But Maisie's gone with my goalkeeper will have to be Jose Sa. Very, very underrated and helped Wolves massively offensively to be a top 10 team, 100%. Ederson has such a good defence in front of him, with City holding 70% of the possession. Most games, he doesn't have much to do a lot of the game, 100% agree with you there. I think if we went a full-on deep dive, obviously there's probably City fans out there that know, and if anyone knows statistically in relation to, I think Alisson has had more shots faced than Ederson. I think he's saved a lot more. I think it was not by far. I think I was looking at the stats last night, and he had about 10, 20 goals, 20 shots more than Ederson. So it'd be interesting to see the save percentages on all these goalkeepers. But Maisie said in relation to De Gea, where's that comment gone? I'm gone. I'll say I was imagining something. No, was that? Oh yeah, no, was that comment. But yeah, 100% there, Maisie. And she's gone with Jose Sa and Eamon. Gary's gone with of course. So if he wants, everyone, I think we can all agree. Are we saying Ali for Orbers? In relation to obviously this is a democracy, so we'll go with Ali.
I think you have to go. I think you have to go with the majority, don't you?
Yeah, go with the majority anyway. But I think we can all agree. I'm hoping that we do see Jose Sa voted into obviously second, because it'd be interesting to see if Wolves do improve next season in relation to obviously their defence and obviously attacking players where they do push up the league. But that wasn't too hard. It's a win till we get a. But the defence really. Where do we start? We'll go with right back then, but you can have more than one right back. We'll do it. We'll do a right back, left back, and 2 centre halves. Obviously, we don't want to end up with having all 4 backs. That we cheated anyway.
You ain't got Gareth Southgate, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Con, we'll go with you, mate. It's probably not even a question, really, but I'm intrigued to see what your thoughts. Are you going to go with Kyle Walker-Peters, lad?
Oh, absolutely. What an absolute pick that is.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Let's put him in there. Let's check it, everyone on social media. That's a joke. Yeah, you get it. Flow over your head, right?
Someone's definitely clipped that somewhere, Jack. You know.
Yeah. They just have like all Twitter, just like, how dare they put Kyle Walker-Peters in the right back?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, no doubt whatsoever about that. Every single right back has been compared to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and each and every single time Trent Alexander-Arnold is clear of every single right back in this division. It's not even funny anymore. 12 assists this season. He's just been on another level. He's up there for me for even PFA Player of the Year. Wouldn't say he is the PFA Player of the Year, but I think he's been that good this season that he's definitely up there for me. So yeah, 1,000% Trent.
Luke?
It's got to be Trent. I mean, I'm a bit surprised you didn't go with Matip, Connor, at right back. To be honest, I mean,
need that pace out wide. Wait, what?
No, you need the dribbling like Messi, just to cut inside and score on the left.
We need Matip in a wheelchair down the wing anyway. Just go on, Joe, lad.
I mean, I echo what Connor said. It's like, you know, every single right back has come towards him, you know, to be who's better than Trent, and Trent's just, as Connor said, I think he's taken it to another level. You know, his stats, you know, his assists this season. I think defensively he's been a bit better this year compared to last year as well. I mean, everyone says about he can't defend. I mean, we all know that he's not the best defensive fullback in the world, but you know, if he can't defend, then Liverpool would be, in my opinion, conceding a lot more goals compared to what a lot of teams are as well. So, yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. I mean,
these
there's
are all the
special
stats as well.
Yeah, I mean,
the assists.
I mean, for me, I mean, the only sort of player you can maybe say that could be in that team after Trent is probably Cancelo. I think at right back he's been tremendous for Manchester City this year. He's played both right and left back. You know, his versatility is very important to any team, and he's one of, in my opinion, he's been probably one of Manchester City's best players this season, and it's quite difficult to maybe leave him out of that sort of position. But again, I don't even think it's a biased approach. Trent Alexander-Arnold for me is the best right back in world football, and if you're going to have a team without Trent, then you know you're just asking for a bit of trouble, really. The creativity, he's up there with De Bruyne, like with assists over the last 3 years. I mean, to someone to keep up with that level is just staggering. So no, Trent all day long goes in.
Yeah, full house for you, Doug.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you're top of the assist chart and being performing week in week out, it has to be Trent. Obviously, you know, Reese James has had a good season at Chelsea, and yes, I would agree on Cancelo, but I think he's been better at left back than he has been right back. So for me, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, keep on getting your comments in as well, everyone. Maisie's gone with this comments as well. Right back for me has to be Trent, even though I think Reese James is better than I'm getting a couple of messages off these three, so this show easy. But yeah, I'm going to agree with Chance is crazy, he's been brilliant. And I think the last couple of weeks as well, Trent's really stepped up defensively. I think the last 3 games he's got like more or less 100% tackle success rate and duel rate, which is a bit mad. Trent. But we'll go with Trent. I'm a bit disappointed that there's no Another shout for me as well would be Livramento from Southampton. If they had to pick one, I would the second. If you had to pick one, a quick one there, chat as well. If you had to pick like a deputy right back, we'll do like a second hybrid team as well. But do quick set. Who would be your second choice right back if you could pick in this team?
I kind of agree with you on Livramento. I think Livramento for me has been one of these players that's really, really pushed himself into the Southampton team, and he's really made a sort of a breakthrough, season. I think he's signed permanently from Chelsea as well. So Southampton don't have to like worry about loaning him back to Chelsea. So yeah, for me, I think Livramento is a decent shout there. Another one you could probably say potentially is Matty Cash as well. I think Matty Cash has had a very good season at Villa.
Yeah, Con, quick shout for your second choice. It can be one of these. Obviously, we've mentioned Cancelo, not Cancelo, but we'll probably put him left back, jumping head. But any shouts that are probably not selected there and chat as well that you.
I would probably
honourable
agree.
mentions. We'll class them as that. Yeah,
I'd probably agree with Livramento. I think he's been brilliant for Southampton this season, and I think I know that people mention the likes of Reese James, Kyle Walker. For me, Kyle Walker isn't nowhere near the conversation for team of the season.
He was good last year, wasn't he? Still, I think he had a better season last year.
But yeah, I think Livramento has been probably the second best right back in the league, I would say, this season.
Yeah, spot on. Doug, on gone. No, Luke, sorry. I'm getting mixed up here. Quick shout for your second honourable mention, mate.
I think there's only two for me. I mean, Livramento again. I think he's been very good. But I mean, you can't. I mean, I know we compare him a lot of people compare him, but I think Reese James has had probably his best season in the Chelsea shirt. So I think Reese James does. But another player I think that a lot of people have forgot about, and I think he's been solid every time he's played for Arsenal, is Tomiyasu. I think he's been excellent in an Arsenal shirt. I think he's been one of the reasons defensively why Arsenal have been better this year compared to a lot of other years. And I think he's been a very good fullback and a good signing for Arsenal. So Tomiyasu, for me, deserves an honourable mention to be a good right back this year.
Yeah, 100%. Keep on getting your comments in. We will be reading out as well. And obviously, if chat outnumbers us 4 on the panel, then chat wins anyway. Being as non-biased as possible. Yeah, what was that there, Izzy? Trent for me has been absolute world-class this season. Also, Messi just scored a screamer. Then, in real life, Andrew, are you playing FIFA? Let us know. You never know.
Farmers League, you what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. League One, incoming triggered League One fans. Or Uber Eats, Christ. But no wonder Neymar's that fat, mate. He's getting free sponsor. Carragher Palace. Do you mean Gallagher? We're not on the midfield yet, Gary. Unless there's a Jamie Carragher right back for Palace. It's annoying going to this because you could miss out Star, Ramsdale, Romero, Gallagher, Bowen, for example, and place them with obvious and the popular. Yeah, Chris, obviously, I could in a couple of weeks once. We will do a revisitors one really when this was just a quick show really, but I'll properly do the graphics and everything, and then we'll probably do probably a longer show as well. But 100% there, Chris. Can we do a show? Oh no, Maisie! If you put in a super chat, then we'll put him in. We'll just Photoshop it anyway. Oh, you know, yeah. No, oh Christ. And it was bad enough watching Cedric, everyone. I don't know if he's watched the Arsenal game today, everyone. I don't know how
that's why I said Tomiyasu's been decent for Arsenal.
How did Arsenal get away with another penalty when Cedric has completely handballed it? What was he thinking?
We don't talk about that.
Have you seen the video with the ref winking? Everyone's lost their head on Twitter because everyone's going, "Oh, the referee winking at
No. The
Arteta."
video, the one that's really made me laugh was someone put fake tears on Rio Ferdinand and talking to
Oh, yeah,
Peter
that's
Walton.
brilliant.
I thought that was brilliant.
It's actually
no,
quite
actually.
surprising that the referee's winking about Manchester United having a decision against them. I mean,
Yes,
that's,
I say Macy's
you
going to be
know.
fuming at the minute. She's going to be sat in him going, yeah, no, are you joking? Yeah, he's a bad dad.
I mean, they missed one
Um,
anyway, so you know.
Yeah, oh, some new starters on Bruno. Right, we'll go to the left back position, everyone. Let us know who, and obviously get your honourable, well, your first choice left back. It can be a right back or whatnot, which will be discussed now. And your honourable mention playing left back. Doug, we'll start with you, mate. Obviously, I think we'll probably just similar position to Trent or player that we'd all agree. But who's your left back of the season? Left back / well, we'll just call it full backs, really.
As much as I would like to pick our brave Scotsman, for me it has to be Cancelo. I mean, the fact that Juventus let this guy go to Manchester City for 25 million, oh my days, what a player. I mean,
Plus
he
Danny
has
Lilo,
been,
one of the like 50 million.
something like that. But I think overall, like, Robertson did miss a big chunk of the season. And I think we have to remember that. You know, Simicast has been fantastic at, to understudy to Andy Robertson. But I just think in terms of like left backs this season, you look at like Manchester City, like obviously had Zinchenko. One name we're not going to mention. I think you know who I mean anyway. And I just feel that without Cancelo, I think Man City are a worser team off without Cancelo. So for me, I just think based on Manchester City, their season as a whole, I just think Andy Robertson missing a bit of a chunk of the season. For me, I think left back has to be, and I'm unbiased here, João Cancelo.
Yeah, as Maisie said there, Jack, keep on getting your comments in as well. Left back Cancelo for me, I think he's been outstanding this season. He's been incredible, and Pep made him a beast. Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting long term as well, won't it, Jack? And obviously, lads, in relation to what City do long term, I think they potentially could be going in for a left back, whoever that might be in Europe. I think ideally, in an ideal situation, they'll want to play Cancelo down the right. But yeah, Con, would you concur with what Doug's had to say there?
Yeah, absolutely. I personally would have put Costas Tsimikas there, to be honest. No, I'm kidding. No, for me, João Cancelo has been City's best player this season, without a doubt. For me, he's been unbelievable. Like Doug said, I would love to put Andy Robertson in at left back. Robbo's been brilliant for Liverpool since about December time and onwards. But Cancelo's been on it from minute one this season, and fully deserves to be in team of the season. For me, like I did say, I think he has been City's best player. And we know how what quality players they have. Kevin De Bruyne and so on. So you have to play at a high level for that. But yeah, for me, João Cancelo deserves team of the season.
I've actually just thought of something as well. That assist, I think it was against Everton when he passed it to Sterling, like outside of the right foot. Just absolutely brilliant. Eye of the needle pass, Sterling onside, and he scores past short arms, of course. So yeah, Cancelo has been amazing this season.
Yeah, and if there was another position, like if we were playing 5 at the back, like some managers in the league, possibly could drop another fullback in there. But yeah, honourable mention as well. It's got to be Andy Robertson for me. I think if Cancelo didn't have as good a start as he did this season, I think the last couple of weeks he has been off the boil. But I think how strong his first 6 months of the season were a cut above the rest, really. And I think for me, that's why he jumps ahead of the queue in relation to the Andy Robinson.
Can I just say that does anyone else agree with this? That Ben Chilwell would have been in the nominees for it if he'd stayed fit for the entire season?
Yes,
and I would also say James Justin as well. Because I think if James Justin hadn't got injured, I think he would have been a memorable option at left back. I think James Justin, since he's come back, he's been very, very good for Leicester.
I think there's one left back I've been disappointed with, and that's probably Luca Dean. I think I've been disappointed with him when he's gone to Villa and it's not really sort of worked out for him. But I mean, he done well for Everton until January at least. But
yeah, up to that fair. Wait, what?
Manager of the season he is. I mean, just for me, it's a full house, Jack. Yeah, I mean, as much as we all love Andy Robertson, it must have been more difficult for Doug considering the Scottish, connection, obviously. But yeah, for me,
yes, that was painful, mate. Yeah. Absolutely painful.
Maisie, I'm sorry, I was taking the piss. I haven't even got him in the graph. Hang on, I'll have to get a picture stuck behind me. Well, thank you very much. You know, bloody, I wanted to say that though. I'll have to buy you a pint when I eventually see it anyway. But yeah, I was going to say he had to blind it today, didn't he? Bloody hell, fellas. Yeah, he helped break our corner goals. Others said, well, thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, sorry, Luke. You're so full out for you, mate. Yeah.
I mean, Tellers has to go in there now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah,
no, so for me, it's a full house. Cancelo, he's been, as Connor said and I said as well, he's, for me, been Manchester City's most consistent and best player this season. And yeah, I think his versatility, how he's able to play on both sides. It's very difficult for a fullback to play on both sides, as we all know. And he's just taken City, to a different sort of level as well himself. So, yeah, João Cancelo for me goes in at left back.
Plonk him there. For some reason,
I mean, I
think I was looking at Diaz, but
yeah, I think in my team that I picked this morning, I was picking sort of 11 of the best players that I felt have been. So like I had Cancelo in the centre back position, but it obviously was like my.
You're a dirty FIFA player, aren't you, lad?
Yeah,
you play
exactly,
full back to centre half.
Play 85 pace at centre back. Yeah.
You little rats. But yeah, so I think Chat's agreeing there as well. As much as Maisie's trying to get Tellers in there. But yeah, I remember that anyway. Con, do you, I was going to say, do you couple of use drinks dark fruit cider, dark fruits? It's not too bad, dark fruits.
It's nice.
It's not bad, but it's not the best. It's like sometimes.
Oh yeah, you're just going to start a war now.
I had, talking of pints the other day, I had a pint of Guinness with a shot of blackcurrant in it. Oh, that was nice.
Oh yeah, bet you were a mess, weren't you?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's just from the blackcurrant.
Should have done a post. Should have done a post match. Oh my God.
You think I was bad? Should have seen Ricky after it.
Yeah, if you win the league, obviously, I think everyone would be flattered in town. We're like, just let loose. Everyone's personality will fully come out then. But yeah, it's said that we all agree so far on the selection. So far, so good. Keyword so far, yes, Chris. So far, I don't like beer. Unfortunately, a pint of cider, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm more of a cider person.
Yeah, I have to say, Maisie, I like my cider as well, so I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, nice one, Alan. I'll probably message you after this, mate, on WhatsApp, and definitely get you on the next episode, mate. Obviously, it depends on if you're free this week. But really do appreciate
Alan is an absolute ledge on Cop On. Yeah. So yeah,
but yeah,
it'd be good to have him on shows, wouldn't it?
100%. So all in agreement at the minute, which is good. We're moving to the centre back areas now, and for me, I'm going to plonk him in here because I'm not confident. And it's not our big, sexy Dutchman. It's our sexy Cameroonman. Good old Joel Matip. For me, did I say he's been the best centre-half this season? He's been Liverpool's best centre-half this season.
100%.
But yeah, so we'll go straight into you. Charles, let us know. Are you agreeing? I think you're nodding your head, so yeah.
Yeah, I think you've hit that nail on the head. To be honest, as much as Van Dijk has been good, I think Matip has been exceptional this season, and it's so good to see him be fully fit this season, isn't it? It's been amazing to see. Look, I think as well, we have to say that Konate has been fantastic whenever he's come in as well. And I think that's made Matip better. The fact that he now knows that, obviously Konate's there, obviously Gomez is there as well. For me, Matip has just been exceptional this season. So for me, I think he's a shoo-in at the right centre-back.
Luke? You?
100%. I agree. I said I think it was like a quarter of the way through the season. I think he played better than Van Dijk, and I mean, there was a few Liverpool fans and a few fans in general that probably thought my opinion was false, obviously, or wrong, but I think this season, yeah, especially you, Jack. No, I think it's Joel Matip this season. He's definitely been, in my opinion, Liverpool's best defender centrally. Van Dijk, again, he's had a very good season himself. He stayed fit, especially after that knee problem. But I mean, Joel Matip, Harry's, as Doug said, Harry stayed fit. He looked after himself, and more importantly as well, how Liverpool have now got these 4 very good available options that they could play at centre back, and it builds confidence around the team as well. And I think it builds confidence in his performances on the pitch and as well as off the pitch as well in training. He's like, for me, he's also become like a sort of a mentor towards a Konate and Gomez as well. And it's definitely improved his game as well as a leader in this Liverpool team. And yeah, I think Joel Matip, I mean, he's the way he wants to dribble in and out of midfields, and I can see him at some point in a Liverpool career plan as a number 8. I mean, that just
I'll tell you what, if that ever happens, mate, I think we'll all be getting him on the back of our shirts going, Matip's great, man.
And he finally scored on one of those mazy wee runs he did. I think it was against Leeds, wasn't it?
That's right.
I think I said to you and Connor on, I think the Friday Focus podcast, that he was bound to score one eventually, and then the next week he does it. So I'm not taking any credit for that or anything, but.
Yeah, Con, get to your votes as well, but get to our chat's comments as well. We probably will include, if we need to include a Chelsea player, we'll leave it blank. So obviously people that are watching will be like, why haven't you put it in? But obviously if we agree on a Chelsea player, then we'll leave that position blank, and then obviously the end of the show. But as Maisie said, centre-back Rudiger never gets a mention compared to Thiago. And I think he's been a rock in the defence. Very poor without him. 100% agree with Maisie. First choice, completely agree. Chris is agreeing with me for the first time in a while. I'm joking. Centre back, I would agree with Matip. He's been the best centre back this season. Extremely calm on the ball. He's more or less like Bilbo Baggins, any boys. He just goes on the bench, and then but he knows exactly what he's doing. But it's because he's that gangly. It makes it look unorthodox, really, but he knows exactly. Unfortunately, can't put Chelsea players in. Yes, we can, Chris, in our heads and in spirit as well. We will not.
I just love Joel Matip's celebrations as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're just so good.
No context, Joel Matip.
That page is just amazing, just absolutely amazing. You just see his wee dance moves is quite funny as well. So yeah, for me,
the one that does me is the picture with Henderson. That's the one that does me.
Oh yeah.
Probably slapped him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Con, quick one there. Agreeing with Matip there, mate. I think. Would you go with
absolutely. Yeah, of course. I think he's.
I see what he did there.
Yeah, it's been Liverpool. He's been Liverpool's probably most consistent centre back, which is weird saying, with Virgil Van Dijk there. His levels since the start of the season, and it's been even last season. It wasn't just the fact of whether or not Joel Matip has been good or not. It's just been him trying to keep fit. And this season, he has stayed fit for the entire season, which is an absolute rarity.
Much so, in your house, lads.
But yeah,
you better touch wood, Laura. I swear to God, if he gets injured.
I've got one in front of me, of course. But no, Joel Matip for me, 100%. And if you remember back at the start of the season, where United fans were obviously comparing Varane and Virgil van Dijk and so on, and people generally thought Harry Maguire was better than Joel Matip, which was hilarious. But yeah, not in the same league.
He's the unmovable object, Harry Maguire. But I think we can all agree, Joel Matip chatters as well as in green. But second choice would be interesting. As obviously Maisie's mentioned, obviously Rudiger really as well. Obviously Maisie saying Chris, yeah, no bias at all in this episode. No bias. Second choice would be Romero. Interested, some Chris Romero, which would be a shock to you.
Yeah, it shocks me.
Oh,
Dives in
yeah.
a lot. I've seen Romero's been an okay signing for Spurs. We'll admit that, but I've not seen many defenders this year dive in a lot as much as Romero. I mean, sometimes some goals they can see. I think sometimes that's why Dyer gets a lot of criticism, because maybe playing alongside him, it can be a bit sort of difficult to sort of get a chemistry between those two. I don't know, but I've spoken my mate at work, or my boss at work. He's a Tottenham fan, and he says to me, I mean, I've watched him a few times as well, but Romero really needs to sort of stay on his feet more, I think, to become a proper natural centre back alongside the likes of Matip, Van Dijk, etc.
To be fair to Eric Dyer, he hasn't been as diabolical as he has been recently.
No, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I like that, Doug.
Yes, Doug.
We know the Doug's on the stream.
Yeah, I love it. I love it and beat them. I love talk shows. Gary John Matter has been class as well. Take care. I'm off to watch the fight. Chris, well, enjoy the fight, mate. I think you'll be back pretty soon. Bit of push. But yeah, I think Tyson will knock him out in the first couple of rounds, really. But everyone, if you are watching the fight, enjoy it. And thank you for every single one who's tuning in. I really do appreciate it. But we're going to the second spot now, centre half. Obviously, we haven't got the graph of Rudiger, but we will leave it clear if people are voting for Rudiger. A couple of people, as they've mentioned, really. For me, I go Van Dijk. Only Stones has played quite well as well. I know he's not on the voting as well, but who do you go with, chat? Has anyone got their second centre half picked? It's an hard one, really, because you'd think in prior seasons there's been out and out standouts. But I'm just thinking Chelsea's back end of the season. You've not been the best, have they? But Luke, who are you thinking for yours? For your partner?
Big Verge for me.
Big Verge. Yeah. Con, who are you going with? Your second choice centre half?
Virgil Van Dijk.
Van Dijk. Doug?
Oh, come on.
Don't say Ben.
Don't kill me. I would actually say Rudiger. I think he has actually been outstanding for Chelsea. And I think he makes Chelsea a better team when he actually plays in the back four or back three. Because I think if you look at Chelsea's results, he was a main reason of them. He was a main reason for them at the start of the season as well. Look, Van Dijk has been fantastic, and you know nobody gets past him as Raheem Sterling. Unlucky, but I just think for sort of goals and sort of very, very good defending, for me, I think it's Rudiger.
I think Rudiger plays well in a back three. I think, as you said, I think he's. I do see what Doug's saying. I think he's been tremendous for Chelsea. I think you're going to see next year with Chelsea how they're going to be very weak defensively without Rudiger in their side.
Yeah, I was saying to I don't know if it was Conrad or one of you today. Gahi's gone to like Palace, hasn't he? Just prior to them obviously getting the ban. So he was a big miss for them. But chat, we're going to have to let you decide, really. It's going to be between Rudiger and Virgil van Dijk.
Does anyone else, though, think that Virgil van Dijk gets a little bit overlooked in terms of not so much Liverpool fans, but I mean outside because everyone, I'd say even outside Liverpool, I think everyone overlooks Virgil van Dijk because everyone's like, oh, Virgil van Dijk's the best centre back in the world. Yeah, and it's the fact that he came back from a season-long injury and has dominated the stats yet again for a centre back. And he's just walked in completely Like not straight away at the start of the season. Didn't take that long to, into the stride of things. It was probably for like the half of the season wasn't at his best, but still dominated the centre back area. And into Milan when Xhaka just looked at him and stopped running like Raheem Sterling as well, which was kind of funny. But I do think people outside of Liverpool do look at Virgil and don't go at him straight away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've changed my mind. Go with Virgil.
I'm going to say something I'm going to say something here. Why is there no Wolves defenders? I am amazed there's no Wolves defenders. For me, Max Kilman has been Wolves' best defender this season, so I think he should get a wee shout there.
100%. I was going to say honourable mentions chat as well. Get them in. Yeah, Kilman, Luke, have you got any honourable mentions?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we said the Chelsea point of view. I think Rudiger's been up there as one of the best defenders this season. No, I can't really think of anyone else, really, to be honest, that I would say, central defenders that have been very consistent. I think Ruben Diaz has obviously had an injury, but he's been, for me, not disappointing, but I think I'm a bit disappointed that when he has played, he's not stepped up that extra level. I think a lot of people compared him to be the next Van Dijk, obviously, when he got one of the players of the season last year, and it's just not really happened to him as much this year. But no, I mean, apart from probably, I think Michael Keane's been superb for Everton this year.
You've got to say that's a joke, like
I think
want Twitter.
No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I think he's been brilliant this year.
What about the Palace boy?
The joke, everyone.
I think. I was just thinking of him, Doug. Actually, to be honest, I think Anderson at Crystal Palace
and Guehi.
Yeah, I think them two have been very good, like as a partnership. So yeah, I think those two maybe. Maybe Craig Dawson at West Ham, possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, shout. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these are the tackles for this season in relation to, obviously, sometimes these stats are very misleading in relation because obviously if you're playing in a more worse defence, the more tackles you probably are going to really make within the season. But as you can see there, Cancelo, Allen, Norgard, and as well, Mitchell's up there. Obviously, I think he was probably an honourable mention for Palace as well, any boys? Obviously, we've already put our left back in, but yeah, 100% chat. Keep on getting your comments in. But Eamon's, he's gone with Virgil van Dijk and Diaz. Interesting there, Eamon. Obviously, was it Diaz that did win the Player of the Year last year or the year before?
I think it was last season, wasn't it?
Was it last season?
Yeah, it was last season. But he's been injured most of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, he had an injury for I think it was about 2 months. Like he's only just come back. But I think even before his injury, I don't know. I was just a bit disappointed that maybe he could.
Because of shit, John.
Yeah, but but yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with Diaz. But hopefully for the rest of the season, he's disappointing and helps us win the league.
Yeah, you never know. Just don't let it slip, innit? But chat, we'll move on. We'll move on to the midfield now. This is where the war begins. In the comment section below and in here down as well, because it's gonna get messy, as we say. Right, midfield, and I haven't got a Scooby-Doo chat. I didn't make this website, but for some weird reason, he got Bowen in midfield. I would have had him as technically as an attacker, but it helps with our voting, I think. But first of all, Alamendi, we don't have to go with a DM, but I think we can go with 3 creative midfielders, if you get me, chat. But I'm going to go with... it's difficult. I'm going to go with Fabinho, because I think, for me, Liverpool this season, I think similar to, obviously, Alisson Becker, from an outside point of view, when you're looking at Liverpool, similar to a lot of players that have played for Liverpool in recent times, probably doesn't get the plaudits he deserves, doesn't get his flowers. We all watch Fabinho week in, week out, and Fabinho's probably been one of Liverpool's most consistent players this year. And when he doesn't play, not many often that he does miss a game, but I think for me, he's been one of my first choices in this midfield. But Doug, would you agree with that, or would you say you can? Obviously, you don't have to go over DM. You can pick 3 creative midfielders, as I said. Who was your
I
first
think
choice in midfield to go?
100%. I think Fabinho has been undoubtedly one of the best CDMs this season. Yes, obviously shout out to Rodri, who's been, very, very good as well. I don't know why there's a ghost in there. I don't know why Mr. Fernandez is there. Obviously, I know he's.
Maisy's probably edited this website.
Can't even call him Hernandez no more, can we?
I know. Missed the penalty today. Unlucky.
Yeah,
for me, it's got to be Fabinho.
Season.
Got to be Fabinho.
Yeah. I think Alan's agreeing with there. But Eamon's jumped ahead of the queue. He's gone with Fabinho, Thiago, and Kevin De Bruyne put in as well. Interesting shout there, mates, obviously. If there's a gap in the team, obviously we'll clarify that at the end, especially if there's a player that we haven't discussed. Obviously we'll put it in, and then I'll edit it on the obviously on the video later. But Con, would you agree with the selection of Fabinho, or would you go with someone different?
Yeah, I would agree with Fabinho. I think he's been, like you and Doug have just said, I think he's been so crucial for Liverpool this season, along with, Mo Salah, Alisson Becker, Virgil van Dijk. He just seems to have, 8 out of 10 games every week. Sometimes it goes 9 and 10s, but it never drops below that. He's been tremendous since he signed for Liverpool, and this season, of course, he's been able to, stay in that DM position for most of the season. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I think the only other person, and I think he might still get into this team, in a defensive midfielder position, I would say probably Declan Rice. That could challenge him. But apart from that, no, I think Fabinho 100% gets into the team.
Yeah, Luke, I was thinking that as well before Connor even said that. I think it'd be ultra defensive if we put 2 DMs there, but Declan Rice 100%, mate. Like, he'd be my second honourable mention.
He was on. I mean, Declan Rice was on my one that I put this morning, and Rick messaged me straight away and said, "What, over Fabinho?" And I was like, "Well, it was like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I picked it, like, as I said, I picked it where I felt who was the 11 best players that had made an impact for their team throughout the whole season. So obviously I know, like, there was so many I could pick from, like, we had Trent and, Fabinho, they've made impacts with Liverpool, etc., blah, blah, blah. But for me, I picked Declan Rice anyway, because I just felt what he's done with this West Ham team. I think he's, for me, been their best player. I think that I use the word leadership a lot, but I think with a club like West Ham, how he's got this group of players and he's able to drag them, in my opinion, to a Europa League semi-final. For a club like West Ham United to be at that position, and they've got a very good opportunity to be in the Champions League next season. If Declan Rice does that, he definitely goes down for me as, this might sound a bit controversial, as one of the players of the season. I think Declan Rice is criminally underrated. I don't think he's worth the amount of money that people are touting out for. Obviously, Manchester United would be silly to pay that amount of money, but I think West Ham have got sort of every right to try and price him at that range. But I think Fabinho, yes, I think defensive midfield position-wise, he has been the best defensive midfielder this season. But I think Declan Rice deserves a great shout to be in there as one of the players of the season, in the team of the season. I think he's been superb for West Ham.
Yeah, chat, let us know. Obviously, Gary's mentioned Saka as well. I'm looking at this, and the more I'm changing my bloody mind right the seconds, because Jared Bowen's in midfield as well. As I said, a bit stupid that he's there. But Gallagher, Doug, Conor Gallagher, it's very unfair that we got 3 in midfield. But is he got to be a mention as well? Because I think he's been absolutely tremendous for Crystal Palace.
I'm going to have to say Gallagher is a shoo-in for me. I think he has been outstanding for Crystal Palace. We all remember him when he was like at West Brom and he was sort of coming through. Yes, and obviously West Brom got relegated, etc. But he was probably the one standout in that really, really poor team. This season, he has just gone on from leaps and bounds. I've been very, very impressed with him. And if I was him, and I know that obviously Chelsea will obviously be getting him back, but I would leave Chelsea. I think he's got bags and bags of potential, and I'm a really, really big fan of his. So for me, I think if you're going with a midfield 3, I think my midfield would be Fabinho, CDM. On the left corner, Gallagher, and then on the right, I'm going Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, I was going to say, innit? It's an hard one. Yeah, because I was about to mention Bernardo as well. Is anyone else got Bernardo as well? Chat, let us know. Luke, would you put Bernardo in there?
Tough one. I think he's been excellent again, but
been really good,
for me right now, I think you've got to put De Bruyne in there. I think Fabinho goes in there. I mean, De Bruyne for me.
I don't think De Bruyne has had as good a season as he usually has.
I think is that similar to like what we were saying about Van Dijk before, Doug? Though, like, because those players are that good.
The thing is, Kevin De Bruyne is a wonderful footballer. We can obviously say that, but for me, I think he started really slow, and sort of the back end of sort of Christmas, he's really got into his own. I think if we're basing it on all season, I think Bernardo Silva over Kevin De Bruyne.
Is there a reason why you would say Bernardo Silva over De Bruyne?
I just think just think for, like, remember that streak he had from about like November to January. He was on a very, very good streak. For me, Bernardo Silva is probably up there with Mohamed Salah for Player of the Year. I
think he was good, but I don't think he was at Salah's level. I think they criminally hyped him up so high than Salah.
I think the one player that we can agree on, though, boys, in chat, I think I've seen a lot of shouts, is Fabinho. Would you say everyone's going to go with Fabinho? Yeah, I think chat would agree with that as well.
I don't know. I think Bernardo. I think he was for 3-4 months. I think after Christmas, I think he was very good. I've not seen him for the last 6 to 8 weeks, though. In all honesty, I think that's where De Bruyne has sort of come out of it a little bit, and maybe taken the spotlight. I think that's probably where De Bruyne gets more plaudits compared to Bernardo right now. It's such a tough one. I mean, it's very difficult, and you can see both sort of sides of it.
Jared Bowen as well, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Bowen, I don't know why he's in this sort of midfield area.
I think we want to put him in that second. Like,
yeah, it's but Conor Gallagher deserves a great mention. You know, and even like James Ward-Prowse this year for Southampton's been brilliant as well. I'm going to stick with De Bruyne anyway. I know, obviously, Doug will disagree, but no, I'm going to stick with Kevin De Bruyne this year.
Right. Have we got to mention Bowen though, Annie? This graph, it's difficult. It's really difficult because I want to put like about 4 or 5 players in there, but we've only got 3 positions. I think we've got to put him in though. Fucking annoying that you can't put him up there. Stupid. But would we all agree with that, chat? Let me know. Yeah. Technically, it's not right. We always know that. Don't be going mad after the video, everyone. We know. But I think that's one player that we can eliminate one of those spots straight away, can't we? Bowen. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, am I lagging? By the way, everyone, am I lagging?
No, no, you're all right.
I'll say, but it's that last one, innit? Bloody hell, chat. I think you might have the deciding factor really. Who gets in? Obviously, we've already mentioned Conor Gallagher, honourable mention. I think Bruno Neves has played quite well this season as well, hasn't he, boys? Not that he'd get in ahead of the others, but I think he's an honourable mention. So what will we decide in chat as well? So it's either that man, right, or that man.
I think if De Bruyne's not going in, if De Bruyne's not going in it, I'm picking Declan Rice.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if Bowen wasn't there, it would be Fabinho, Declan Rice, and Kevin De Bruyne for me.
So yeah, right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Declan. Actually, can't have two West Ham players. Oh, yeah, no, we can't have two West Ham players.
We seem to be too biased, Jack.
Right, yeah, no, gotta go with that, man. For me. Bloody hell. Come on, McKindle. I don't fucking know if this PCO doing that. So, can we agree on that? I know there's probably going to be a lot of fucking debate. But would you say we'd all agree? Probably not, but you going to go with that, boys, yeah? Or have I got the power?
Yeah, I mean, he's up there. He's definitely been up there as a good player this season for City, but I do think they've overhyped him slightly in some regard. I think he's a great player. I I personally don't like him because of what he's done for Liverpool. Like, when we won the league and didn't clap us in that Guard of Honour, he'll never be forgiven for that. Just shows the professionalism. But
hang on, if you three outnumber me, then I'll fucking take the fucker out if you want.
To be fair, I think if you go in Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, or Declan Rice, Bernardo Silva's at the bottom of that list for me.
Sound fucking right. Take it out. Right, Doug. One name. Who we pick for you, and then we'll tell you.
Conor Gallagher.
Gallagher. On.
Not even one of those three.
On.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh my God, Luke.
Do you know what? I'm gonna
Don't
go.
You dare go Declan Rice and jump out of that window.
Go with Fernandez. No,
I'm definitely coming out of the window. Ten Hag come with me as well.
I think no. Do you know what? It is easy to pick De Bruyne, but I'm going to go with Doug. I think Gallagher's been superb for Palace this year. I think he deserves an honourable mention. I think Conor Gallagher put him in there, Jack. Sorry, Connor. I know it's I got to be nice to Jack. I mean, I didn't give him a goal in his game this afternoon, so we've got to.
Yeah, you just know everyone's gonna be fuming. Obviously, chap, we could have picked Bernardo, as we said. Could have picked Declan Rice. I think if there was, we would have went ideally that. I think would we have said Chas, and then probably would have took. Who would you have taken off if Bowen wasn't there? Yeah, and even Saka. Christ, we haven't even mentioned Saka these shit anyway. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then the attackers now. I'd say it's a bit easier, but not really after that midfield debacle anyway. But we'll have to have good old Jared Bowen. Right. Left forward. Well, just a forward. We'll start with Doug. Who's in your selection? Oh, Americans. You've put Ronaldo. Who are we going with?
Oh, is this for all three or just one?
Yeah, well, go with the first one, the first left forward. So, i.e., obviously, it doesn't have to be a left winger; it can just be a forward. Who would you pick?
Right, out of that lot, definitely not Sterling. Foden. Possibly. The only thing I would say about Foden, he does turn up in the big games, and he seems to go missing in other games. So probably not.
Right, we'll put one man in there. Sorry, Doug, but obviously,
has to be.
Yeah, that's the easiest one. The easiest
Proud
pick
to
Has to be.
Well, yeah. So
It's whether or not you want. It's whether you. I think. I think this person has been. I think this person has been outstanding. For me, I'm going to go Herman Song.
I'll second that.
Is this going to be easier than expected?
Yeah, Son on the left of me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
then we've got
it's Son for me as well.
Son, cheers, son's crying. Right, we go with him. My son's crying. Right, we go with him. Oh, that chat. Now everyone's gonna be fuming in the chat. Chat decides as well. No worries, Eamons. Obviously, I will redo the show with a lot more graphics, and I'll do a better job than EA. So shout out to EA. You say shit. But I'll probably do a lot more, a bigger show with all. Probably get a lot more people on as well. But Con, firstly, you picked up. We've probably got like 3 players for one position. Because we haven't even mentioned Riyad Mahrez.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he
For
doesn't
me
get it.
personally, he's been City's best
He doesn't
player
get
for
it
me.
anyway.
Riyad Mahrez has been brilliant. I was when he came on against Liverpool. When he came on against Liverpool, I was petrified. I was the one attacking player I didn't want to come on the pitch, and that was Riyad Mahrez. I think he has been very good.
I think that chance at the end in that home game, not the home game, the away game at the Etihad, I shat myself. I'm not gonna lie.
That was Joel Matip blocking it. It was only until like a couple of days after I noticed. Didn't Matip get a block on that too? I'm pretty sure he did. And like it went over across the bar, but thankfully I don't think he got it. But so you're gonna go with Con? Would you say?
Jesus Christ!
You done a politician move there. I asked you, and then you just passed it off, didn't you? Yeah, who are you picking?
It's between Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane for me. Oh, Jesus Christ! Who do you pick? The last couple of weeks, I would have gone Sadio Mane over the last couple of weeks, but I think the entirety of the season, I would go with Diogo Jota over Sadio Mane, which is mad for me to say because I love Sadio to death, but I think Diogo Jota offers you something more as well, from the left, from the centre. Sadio's done both as well, don't get me wrong, but in terms of, he's Jota's on, I think, 22 goals in all competitions alone. I know Premier League, I think it's 15 now, but for me, I think he's been unbelievable this season. But it could easily be Sadio Mane as well. But yeah, Diogo Jota for me.
Something at the back of my mind. I'm thinking we're including Son here. Don't be wrong, but the fact that City and Liverpool are going for the league, Spurs are bottling top 4. And last couple of weeks, I think they've won 2 back-to-back games where Son hasn't scored. For me, something in the back of my mind tell me to go with Mahrez, Salah, and then Jota.
I think Son's dragged that Spurs team with Kane over the last couple of months.
It's the fact as well.
Damon's gone with Kane in the middle as well.
No.
I would. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put Kane. I think Son's been more effective than Kane this year.
So, Luke, who would you go with?
I mean, yeah, I mean, if honourable mentions, I mean, Ivan Toney's been brilliant for Brentford this year.
My man.
Highest scoring Englishman, isn't he?
I think he's level with Kane. I think in the Premier League this year as well. That will take some doing, especially with the World Cup coming up as well. It gives Southgate a bit more of a headache for selection, like for the squad. Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? But I think when you're looking at the goal scoring charts, I think Diogo Slaughter, as I call him, he's just been out of this world this year for Liverpool. We've been crying out for
the winners go, isn't it, mate? And
I agree. I think there's times where Liverpool have had to dig deep, and Jota's been there to pick up the important goals. But also, like, I just think as Liverpool fans, like over the last sort of maybe 2 seasons, we've cried out for an all-out centre forward. I think that's able to put the ball in the back of the net and not rely on Salah and Mane a lot. And for me, Jota has done that this season. So I'm going to go with Connor. I think Tony's been good. I think Antonio's done well, but Jota for me goes through the middle.
Doug, all in agreement? Would you go? Or
Yeah, and I think there's someone in the chat who will definitely agree. Maisie, I know you are a big admirer of Diogo Jota, so yeah, it's got to be Jota.
Petrified of him, and she was saying it was as well. So I think I didn't expect that to be as easy. Well, not as easy, but you just I can just hear people screaming on socials. But you can't please everyone, can you? You're like, oh fucking hell! People that just jumped in, so be like, whoa. But are we all happy with our forward three as well? Chat, let us know. I feel bad leaving. Feels bad saying that. If Bowen was a forward, who would he have replaced out of those three for you, Doug? And we'll ask it.
Son. For me.
Son, yeah. Would you replace Son?
None of them for me. I don't think Bowen beats any of those three up front. Even though he's had a brilliant season, yeah. I don't think he would beat any of them.
Luke?
I think I kind of see what Connor's saying, but I think if you had to take one of them out, obviously you would say Son, but I agree. I do think those three have definitely been the best three in the attacking areas, but Bowen is for me, I think he's a close second behind any of those three individually. So but yeah, I wouldn't take any of those three out, to be honest.
100% there, chat. Get your comments in as well. And then any honourable mentions there, Doug, for your attacking forwards, that players that aren't on obviously the graph, really, that you, if you had to pick another attacker that's really impressed you this season, as well as chat, let us know. Or if you think the lads that we
none of Chelsea's. Let's just say that.
I think definitely Lukaku. Definitely not Lukaku.
I think Mason Mount's, he's got some of the highest stats out of the English attacking players.
Not for his dancing, no, he can't dance, can he? Oh fuck me, that dance.
I think he surprises a lot of players though, Mason Mount. I think was it 10 goals and I think he's got 9 or 10 assists this season. His contribution to goals has been pretty good for Mason Mount, to be fair. I think out of the attacking sense, I think he has definitely been Chelsea's best attacking player.
I think he's gone off the boil as well, hasn't he, I think he started the season quite well, didn't he? But I think that's coincided with Leeds' bad form.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, going back on Mason Mount, but looking at the stats, I didn't realize he had 10 goals and 9 assists this season. I know he had a really good period, but like lately, I think, due to Chelsea being a bit poor as well, them being in no man's land, I think that's kind of gone into Mason Mount's game a little bit. Chelsea, they're not really fighting for anything at the minute. Honourable shouts, I would go, Rafinha. I thought, he's brilliant. Up to a stage this season, carried Leeds, if they stay up, carried them to safety. And as well, a little bit of biased as well. One person I would say is, since he's signed for Liverpool, Luis Diaz. I think, obviously, if we were talking, should he be in a team of the season? Then yes, he should be. He should be in the Portuguese league, because everyone said he was the best player there before he left for Liverpool. But ever since he's joined, he's been brilliant for Liverpool. So yeah, but I'd say Rafinha for me would be up there.
Yeah, Luke, I'm just looking there. I'm surprised with you. Dennis as well. Get to Eamon's comment.
I just thought of Emmanuel Dennis.
Yeah, it's been a bit
he
mad.
Ain't staying at Watford next season.
Yeah, I don't. He's not a Watford player next season. I fully agree with that. He's definitely come in this season, and he's been the only positive. I mean, you just look at the team around him. There's no confidence there at all, and they're going down. But I mean, that's definitely the one positive you can take out of Watford this year is Emmanuel Dennis. I think he's been superb. I can see him signing maybe for a club like, I don't know, Brentford or possibly somewhere like Southampton, possibly. No, he's definitely been up there. I think is a good player. I mean, I see Eamon put in the chat. I mean, Ronaldo. I don't think Man United obviously have been poor to their standards, but I think Ronaldo still had a good individual season in like statistically as well. He
Yeah, I
still
think so as
scored a
well.
lot of goals. He's still, as we said about points per game. I think Ronaldo's definitely up there as one of the players that has won the most points out of any player this season for their team. In sort of positions where United look dead and buried, and you have to give him some credit. But yeah, I mean, the front three as we picked earlier for me, that's definitely the front three I would pick. I think he's on to hide.
Jack.
I think he's not happy with the front. I think his neighbours are shouting at him.
It's woman's son. He's not happy that it was talking bad about him. But yeah, nearly done. Yeah, come on. Who do you want off? I wish I had the second camera set up. Going like that to me. Oh, she must be a Man United fan. Get out of the house. But yeah, 100% agree with you there, mate. And 100% there, lads. So that was our concluding team of the season now as well, everyone. But we'll go into the final segment of the show as well, everyone, in relation to who would be your player of the season. This second probably will be over quite quick, I'm guessing. But Connor, we'll start with you, mates. Obviously, we'll make it interesting. We'll go with these top three players. If you go, we'll start with your third to second to first. You've got to pick who would be your top three players. Well, number one being numero uno, being your player of the moment.
Number one, obviously, would be Mohamed Salah. No questions or doubts about that. The man's been insane for Liverpool this season. I think, what is it? I think 34 goal contributions in the Premier League alone this season. It's just been unbelievable, isn't it, for Mo this season? We talk about people being the best in the world at the minute, and him and Benzema are up there for me at the minute of being the best in the world. And for me, he's certainly the best in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. And rightfully should be the PFA Player of the Year as well.
Yeah, Joe, do you reckon he'll be picking up this trophy again? Come on, the end of May.
Yes, I do. I think Mohamed Salah has just been amazing. I know people will say since his AFCON form is sort of dwindled a little bit, but we can quite clearly see the way that he played for most of the season. And he's got 13 goals against the top six this season, which is a record in itself as well. So, Liverpool are breaking records for fun. Mohamed Salah is breaking records for fun. So, yeah, for me, it has to be Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, Luke, full house as you expect on Liverpool channel.
No, I'm going with Richarlison, to be honest.
Whoa! Well, hang on. In a bit, Luke Clark. I'll see you in the next episode. But yeah, that was a joke, everyone. I know a couple of you don't get jokes. Go over your fucking heads.
Full ass. You cannot take this man. Like how people can say he's a one season wonder is just beyond a joke. He's criminally underrated, as a footballer, in my opinion, like by a lot of people. He doesn't get the plaudits he deserves. I mean, apart from PFA Player of the Year, he should be picking up, in my opinion, the Ballon d'Or. We all know why. Messi gets the Ballon d'Or every year and other players do. I mean, we don't need to talk about the politics in voting, but, it's crazy how he's not won more in a Liverpool shirt, but also, what he's done, the contributions for goals. And what I've been impressed with Mo Salah this year, not just his goals and assists, which is the easy thing to talk about, his defensive work this year as well. I've seen him track back so much to help Trent Alexander-Arnold out this season, to be that team player, to be that person that, really wants to win for the team. And I applaud him, the contract scenario that, we all want him to sign a new deal, but let's get the end of the season, let's get it out and done with, and then let's sort out that contract for him because he fully deserves it. And I mean, give the man what he wants. I mean, he is definitely by far the best player in world football and should be winning that Player of the Season award.
Yeah, I think it's a full house, really. I think that's a 34 goal contribution in terms of the league season, if I'm correct. I am Con, aren't I? I'm going quickly get the stats up here.
34.
Yeah, it's a 34 goal contribution, which
Yeah,
is absolutely phenomenal.
22 goals, 12 assists.
Yeah, so I think obviously Eamon's gone with chat. If you want to do what Eamon's done there, pick your 1, 2, and 3 as well. But Eamon's gone with Salah, of course. Yeah, of course. Mane, interesting seconds, and obviously KDB.
Van der Beek.
Van der Beek there. I think you mean Kevin De Bruyne there. Unless it's my full dyslexia mode going into full swing there, and I can't read. Kevin De Bruyne, I think he means. Salah top them.
Sorry, Jack, he meant Van der Beek.
Donny Van der Beek. Oh, Christ. Playing really well, he down there. I see Spudgeon beat Brentford. That's another game Son can score. Obviously, Helen, and obviously, if you not watched my video last night, we spoke about it then. But yeah, we more or less dismissed the rumours to spoil it really. But I hope you had a good night, Helen. Obviously, Eamon's as well. And we'll cap off. Obviously, I didn't bring the title, but manager of the season, Con. If the season ended now, it could change, couldn't it? Because I tell you, it could be a lot of superlatives really to add to this. If, massive if, I don't think it'll happen, but say if where West Ham did get Champions League football, that'd be a massive. But I think I've got to throw a name in the hat, David Moyes. I don't know if anyone would agree. Chat as well, let us know. But I think the work in which he's done for the back-to-back seasons now, especially for a West Ham side, that is not really reinforced a lot. Very heavily reliant on Antonio. But Con, it would be your manager of the season. Doesn't have to be Pep or obviously Jurgen Klopp. But
well, again, depends on what happens at the end of the season. If Liverpool were to win the league, then it would be Jurgen Klopp for me, 100%. I'm going to put a mad shout out there, and I don't fully back this neither, but Eddie Howe I've got in there for the job that he's done at Newcastle. And it's weird because David Moyes would be up there 100%, and I think David Moyes should be up there. But I think the fact that Newcastle are 9th at the minute, and in January they had, one win, I think it was, and they were like deep in the relegation zone. The job that, and I know he's had backing and money and so on, but I think the job that he's done to get them up and to be in the top half of the Premier League as well, I think it's been a very, very good, a very good job by him. Of course, he'll get backed even more in the summer, but if it isn't going to be David Moyes, it would be Eddie Howe for me.
Yeah, good shout there, mate. And yeah, similar to Klopp and Pep Guardiola in the chat as well. Yes, managers could have good teams, but it's what they do with those players. And I 100% agree with what Con said there. You still have to be a good manager to get the best out of your team. And Luke, have you got a different shout to Con? Or
I think the Eddie Howe, shout. I get what Connor's saying. I think it doesn't. I think it doesn't matter. Obviously, the money that you spend, because we all know teams like to spend money, but I just think when you're a club like Newcastle with that area of the table, when you get given that amount of money, there's no doubt that you're going to push right back up the league. But I mean, he does deserve some credit. Obviously, he has turned it round and kept them up, and next season is going to be defining for him. I think two managers in particular that I just think.
I was just going to say quick one. Would it be Thomas Frank? Because I was just looking at Gary's comment there, but look at where Brentford are there, boys, as well. 11th.
I was just going to say I was just going to say Thomas Frank to be, doubted straight away. They were tipped on relegation favourites or one of the relegation favourites. I think Thomas Frank's done a superb job at Brentford. It's going to be interesting what Thomas Frank does next year, because usually we all know about that second season syndrome. A lot of teams do fall for that. Second season they get a bit more complacent. But I think Thomas Frank deserves a lot of credit. I think another two in particular. I think David Moyes as well, as you said, Jack. I think If they get in the Champions League for a club like West Ham, that would be massive. And I think the only other person I can think of, apart from Klopp and Pep, I think Patrick Vieira at Palace. I think he's done an excellent job. Got them to an FA Cup semi-final. I think he's taken them a step further to where Roy Hodgson left them. And again, I think he was favourite to be the first to be sacked at the start of the season. And I think Patrick Vieira has done a very, very good job at Crystal Palace. But if I was to pick one, I think it would be either Rafa Benitez or Frank Lampard. I think those two have been... No, seriously.
Football club.
Everton Football Club. Yeah. It just depends. If Jurgen Klopp wins the league and if he wins the quadruple, Klopp all day long.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, though, isn't it? Because even if Pep wins the league and then Klopp wins 3 competitions, that's where it's like, who wins it? It's one of those things, but it's either one of those two. I can't decide. It's one of those two. It's either Pep or Jurgen Klopp.
Joe, I say Connor's done a run there. I think he's bottled it. Yeah, we are.
He said Eddie Howe and run away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 4 updated. Oh, Jesus, that's not good.
See you in a minute, lad.
I mean, it's so difficult. I mean, obviously, I would agree, and obviously Thomas Frank. I think Brentford being 11th is quite remarkable. Considering that many people had them to be relegated at the start of the season. I didn't. I think I had them 17th. I think. So when you look at what Brentford have done, I think the signing of Eriksen has changed their season completely. And I also look at it as well. Yeah, I thought it was a joke, Eamon. I was only joking, mate, as well. I think Patrick Vieira has done a very good job at Palace as well. And you actually look at Crystal Palace as well. They've a lot of people had, including 442's magazine. 442 magazine, sorry, I should say, not 442's. That's a YouTube page. They actually had Patrick Vieira to be the first manager to be sacked this season.
I've got to admit, I had Palace in the relegation zone.
Yeah, and they had Palace finishing bottom as well. Yeah, that's really bad.
Just seeing Tyson Fury's just put Dylan White on the floor. Fight's done. Fury's won.
What rounds? I was going to say
round 6. Fury knocked him out.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a foregone conclusion.
Sorry,
wasn't it?
I just.
That's all right. I don't have any interest in boxing whatsoever.
Tyson Fury, manager of the month, Doug. Manager of the year, sorry.
I suppose you could probably say. Would you say Mikel Arteta? Cue the absolute uproar of Arsenal fans.
If he gets him in the Champions League, then why not?
Yeah.
Especially if you listen to Arsenal fans as well, chat, let us know. Because I don't think if you'd asked them, I know similar with Newcastle, both them and Newcastle spent quite a lot of money in terms of their budget. But when I've listened to Arsenal fans, especially on all their channels as well this season, it sounds like it's ahead of their schedule. I think, as he said, good shout there to chat, let us know. But yeah, so
I think there's only one other manager I think that we've all forgot about, possibly even myself. I think Graham Potter. I think at Brighton's done a very good job with that team. But I don't see
I think Bruno Lage as well. Would you say? I know they've trickled off the back end of this season. They've really hit a stumbling block, as you can see there. The form.
Jackson's doing a good job at Burnley as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if he keeps him up anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to go with Jurgen Klopp. That's throw out there straight away. Only given for the sheer amount of non-money he spends. Obviously, bringing in Diaz this summer, well, in the January transfer window, and obviously Ibu Kanate. Just the fact of how everyone wrote Liverpool off outside of Liverpool, especially the journalists as well. Didn't give Liverpool a sniff. But I think given the ability of us to go again, really, I think, and the fact that we've not clawed back at this points total, which we have, but it's the fact of we're still back up there competing with City for the amount of money they have spent over the last 5-6 years. But for me, I'd go with Jurgen Klopp. Doug, who would you go with your final vote as well for your manager of the year?
Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank. Luke?
Klopp.
If chat, let me know. Yeah, Con. Obviously, we'll probably do another show of this over the back end of the season, more graphs and that. But Connor, I was going to say we might need your final vote there. But yeah, my second choice would have been Thomas Frank there as well, Doug. I think as the lads have already put as well. Chat, let us know. I think if it wasn't for Klopp and the business he's doing, Thomas Frank 100%. The fact that Brentford are 11th, as you mentioned there, Luke, before, second year syndrome. We've seen Sheffield United come up doing exactly the same. Who was it last year that done exactly the same and went down?
I think it's. Yeah, I'm trying to think, but I think it was Leeds as well. This season we're under threat
Leeds,
of it as well.
Yeah, I think nearly.
Like this season, they've been under a lot of pressure for that. And to be honest, I think looking at the league table, like Leeds are not really safe. I mean, Burnley
They're
get
not
another
safe.
win.
No,
You know,
I think if Burnley were to win tomorrow, they go 1 point behind them.
And Everton going to bottom three. Great start.
But I started laughing.
I know.
Yeah, but as Eamon said there, I think more or less at the nail on the head. The manager of the year wins the most trophies, so it's between Klopp.
I think it's going to sound really bizarre, but I know manager of the year usually goes to the manager that wins the most trophies. I get that, but I think it's disappointing when I agree with. I like Doug's selection with Thomas Frank because I also look at that point of it. We know Brentford are nowhere near going to compete for the Premier League or nowhere near possibly going to compete for trophies. But for what the budget he's got and for what he's had to work with, his first ever season as a Premier League manager, he's done superbly well. To be just outside the top 10 with Brentford, I mean, that achievement alone deserves a huge lot of credit. And I think that's where, I think there's only been, I think there's like 2 managers in the last 15 years have been PFA player, manager of the year that have not won the league. And I think it was Alan Pardew and Tony Pulis. But I think everyone else has won the league. Like I know it's mainly that, but I think it sometimes is a bit disappointing that they don't look at other achievements and how managers have done well with those teams at what they've had to deal with.
Yeah, 100% there, mate. Yeah, Harry, nice one, everyone. And if you're just tuning in, obviously just rewind the video and obviously watch it back and let us know all your thoughts. You can fume at all of us for the players that we've selected. Pretty sure a lot of you probably will. But this is democracy. Obviously, if you're in the chat, you would have outnumbered us on the votes anyway. But 100% there, boys. Signing the window for me is Luis Diaz and Bruno Guimaraes. I've completely butchered his second name. Obviously, there's a proper pronunciation. Just to let everyone know, but yeah, spot on there, Harry. But Connor, don't know if you've got charged back in your phone, matey. But if you want, you can just drop in. But Doug, thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming on, mate. Obviously, just shout out your channel where everyone can find you. And we'll have to do this again, won't we?
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you very much for having me. My channel is the Dugout Football channel. Twitter is Enroad_982. Instagram, Douglas.Horn. Facebook, Douglas James Horn.
Absolute legends. And Luke, thank you once again. Great to speak to you again today. Doug, Luke's probably sick of me. He's had about 4 hours with me today. So thank you very much for coming on, mate. And where can everyone find you and what shows you got coming up on?
Yeah, thanks for letting me come on, Jack. Really appreciate it. Good to speak to you again, Doug, as well. 1892 Reds podcast on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. On the road to 500 at the moment. So yeah, come and check us out and subscribe to our channel. Absolute legend, lad. But most importantly, and Connor from the Cop Council. Connor's what was it? He threw Thomas Frank in the hat and then he's bailed. Was it? But Connor from the Cop Council, everyone. Make sure you head over and subscribe. I think he's got a show planned tomorrow. So make sure you do check over on the lads' streams as well. And obviously, most importantly, every single one of you is at home. Obviously, shout out to Eamon. Cheers, guys. Great stream. Thank you very much, Eamon, for tuning in. Obviously, shout out to Harry as well. Andrew as well. Gary, absolute bloody legend, mate, as well. Always in everyone's streams. Helen for tuning in as well. Alan,
we'll be getting you on the channel soon, mate. If you're still watching, obviously got quite a lot of shows planned. But if anyone's watching, you'd like to get involved, you're more than free. I'd love to get a lot more people on as well. So just drop us a message on Twitter, and obviously shout out to Maisie. Thank you very much for the super chat. Obviously, Tellez beats everyone. Beats Cancelo.
We'll make him
thank you
captain.
very much. Well, yeah, thank you very much, Maisie, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. And obviously, Chris Welch, he went off to watch the footy as well. And Shelley as well. I think Kyle Walker is the toughest defensive right back, but Trent good to give more assists for the front players. 100% there, Shelley. Apologies, I did miss that by accident. Didn't do it on purpose. Make sure I haven't missed anyone else's comments. So shout out to Zuki as well. Absolute legends. But everyone, have a lovely rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Hopefully, do see you there. But everyone, have a lovely rest of your morning, night, wherever you are around the world. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. GMT for another episode.
Shut up and sit down.